for all of you that are here, super excited to have you on here with Kyle. I'll give a brief intro for anyone who doesn't know myself. I'm Tessa from Pipeline Solutions. We help studios with analytics and automations, and also multi-location brands scale. So happy to be talking about something that we at Pipeline don't specifically cover, but we know is a big deal in our space, which is staffing. We know it's a challenge across the board. We just are very acutely aware of how difficult it is to find great people and build great teams. My co-founder, John, who couldn't make it on the call this evening, but is a multi-location owner, and I've been a coach for too long now. So, I've come across all these issues myself, and our staffing series is really just designed to bring in, some of the best minds and folks in the space to give their perspective on how they go about doing the things that they do in an effort to help you all with staffing. So with that being said, I'd love to introduce Kyle from FitPath Consulting. Kyle's got over 2 decades of experience spanning coaching, studio management, and consultancy in the fitness industry. He's a recognized leader in staffing, team building, and leadership development. And he's adept at identifying talent, fostering collaboration, and installing a culture of growth. So Kyle brings a wealth of knowledge and practical wisdom to every engagement that he undertakes. And he's dedicated to helping studio owners thrive in an ever-evolving landscape, driving transformative results for businesses at every stage of development. And he does that through FitPath Consulting, which offers extensive support in employee recruitment, digital marketing strategies, budget management, and training for general managers. So with that, Kyle, have you take it away? Welcome.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Thanks, guys, for having me. Thanks, Tessa, for that. So I've been in the industry for about 25 years, and I started out at Bally's back in the day, and been at New York Sports Club, New York Health and Racket, and then went to Boutique Fitness and started as a trainer there. And then, again, just like the other clubs, became a general manager and handled everything from, staffing to budgeting to everything under the sun that you guys know because you're owners and that you cover as yourselves as owners, or GMs. So one of the biggest things that's issues that we're having right now in fitness and in not just fitness, but in the health industry in general is finding the right staffing. And for a number of reasons. So we will just get into it, and I'll share my screen. And if you guys want to handle questions at the end or in between, I'm totally fine with it. It's totally up to you. I'm easy. Did everyone see?
Yep, you're good.
Good to go? All right. So building your dream team, overcome recruitment challenges in the fitness industry. So what we're going to cover today is challenges of recruiting in the fitness industry, solutions to finding the right talent, how to foster a team that thrives, and the before retention strategies in a competitive market. So one of the problems and one of the reasons why I think recruiters is necessary is one of the things that I think that I've had discussions with gym owners, because gym owners come from a different background, whether it's a business or something other than health and that's health related. Hiring for a fitness studio is different than any other field. Just like hiring for a tech would not be the same. You wouldn't hire the same in tech, or you wouldn't health or engineering, anything like that. It's very different. So with that comes a lot of challenges that I don't think a lot of studio owners are prepared for. And a lot of times they don't get a lot of support from corporate depending on the studio. So with my knowledge, that's where I come in and kind of, I'm the middleman that can actually help some of those things. Not just me, my profession in general, recruiting. Okay, so some of the things that we find problems with is roles require a mix of certifications. Now that would, that's something like a yoga instructor or a Pilates instructor, things of that nature. Sales and customer service experience and technical knowledge, e.g. certain gym equipment or small or large apparatuses. Again, if you are a Pilates instructor, you would have to know obviously how to work that. Another challenge is limited pool of qualified professionals in certain markets and high demand for experienced candidates across the industry. how do we find qualified candidates? Well, one of the biggest things is obviously job posts. Now, within those job posts, I've rewritten dozens and dozens and dozens of job posts. So one thing I would recommend is be careful on how you word your job post. You want to be thoughtful. You don't want to sound so robotic, like a lot of job posts do, because that will turn people off. So one of the recent videos I just made on LinkedIn was being thoughtful with your job post, right? It's not just how you write the job post, it's the words that you choose to use. So instead of writing, we're looking for a trainer, we want a dynamic trainer. Think of something that will attract the kind of person you're looking for, something that's going to make them think that they can actually do the job, if that makes sense. Leverage social media and not only post about the job, but you want to use videos as well. So one of the things I recommend to a lot of the studio owners is, yes, obviously you want to post at different job sites and things of that nature, but you can also use your staff, which is not utilized enough. Use your staff and use some of the people that currently work with you, sales associates or general managers, and have them get on video and tell them about their experience. That's one thing that's not done enough. Take Rumble, for example. Rumble does a great job at promoting their gym, promoting their staff. And they're one of the few gyms that will use their staff and actually have them get on and say, this is why I want to work at Rumble, because of X, Y, and Z, and blah, 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 blah. So, that's just one idea that you guys can use that actually does work. Upskill new hires, provide in-house training to fill skill gaps. So this is one of also things that I think that is missing in the fitness industry with franchise. Some of the franchises is you get sold a dream, and then all of a sudden, corporate is nowhere to be found some of the times, and then you don't have the support that you were promised in the beginning. One thing you can do, obviously, is bring in outside help to train your sales staff, or you can do it yourself. But one thing that's not done is ongoing is continuing education for your sales staff, because things change. The way you sell might change. The way we were selling, 4 or 5 years ago is not the same we're doing now, just because the world is a different place. Therefore, your pitch has to be a little bit different. Therefore, your empathy has to be a little bit different, because people's pockets are not the same, if that makes sense. So this is something to think about, when you're training your staff. Next, attracting cultural fits. Every studio has a unique culture based on brand identity. So obviously, some of the people that work out at F45 are not the same people who work out at Rumble. Some of the people who work out at Rumble are not the same people who go to Yoga 6 or Club Pilates or things of that nature. So be very cognizant when you're attracting these people. You want to attract a cultural fit. If someone was in boxing before and they want to go to Rumble, or they want to go to F45 and they like HIIT classes, you try to get those people that enjoy those workouts. If you get those people that enjoy those workouts, they're going to be more apt and more energetic to actually sell the workout themselves, because they've done similar things and they've seen the results that come from it, if that makes sense. A poor cultural fit can lead to high turnover and negative client experiences. 1000%, and we've probably all seen this. You can't hire someone that doesn't know what a gym looks like. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've actually interviewed these people. They've never been inside a gym. And the thing is, once you are recruiting, you want to give certain people a chance. Okay, you haven't been inside a gym before, but you have sales experience. It unfortunately doesn't work that way. And you're going to waste your time training that person, and you're going to put efforts into something that's probably not going to work. And you need to focus on other things like bringing more members and retention. Right, so that's just something else to think about. Hard to assess cultural fit through resumes and interviews, 100%. The way my process works at FitPath Consulting is that we have 4 interviews. That's it. First one is a phone interview, which lasts 5 minutes, if that. It may last 3 minutes, and that's the first thing we do is talk to that person, because we want to see if they're able to have a conversation. First thing I ask, okay, tell me about yourself. If they start going through their resume, then that tells you one thing: they can't follow directions. Doesn't mean they're not good for the job. That's just one thing that you can just check off, like, okay, they didn't get that right, And you're not being an ass about it, but that's just one thing that you need to pay attention to. The second interview is a Zoom call with me, and that we go more into the job. I get to see them. They tell me about themselves and so forth and blah, blah, blah. Third interview is with the owner, me, and the candidate. I get to sit there and watch the candidate get asked questions up and down, go through role playing and anything that the owner wants to do. Fourth interview is the candidate comes in. That's it. I've seen this go way too far. 6, 7 interviews. It doesn't need to go that far. It's very simple. A person can be hired in a week, 2 weeks if you follow this simple formula. Also, another way to do it, and we customize the interview process depending on what the owner actually wants. If they want to cut out the second interview and have that candidate come right in, boom, that's done, and that just speeds up the process. Also, there's 2 ways you can actually handle when the candidate actually comes in. So a lot of times I'll tell owners and gym owners, just leave the candidate with one of your staff members and walk away. Show them around the gym. Now, if they can get along with your staff and your staff can have an opinion about them, that's just another way to evaluate that potential candidate. How do we attract cultural fits? Behavioral interviews. Assess. If you're doing an interview, stay on it as long as you want. My interviews go a half hour, 60 minutes, some go 15. Within the first 5 minutes whether or not this person is actually going to work out or not. And depending on their demeanor and their behavior and their body language during the interview, you could tell whether they're a cultural fit or not. So that's some of the things you just want to pay attention to. Trial classes, invite them in to do a boxing class, invite them in to do an F45 class, 1, 2, 3 classes. If you have different types of classes, invite them all 3. See how they handle it, see how they handle the pressure of the class, see if they can actually work out, see how they interact with your staff, see how they interact with the other members of the gym. That's just an easy way to watch from afar to see how they might be a fit or not a good fit for your gym. Showcase your brand. Use job posting, social media, and your website to highlight your culture and attract like-minded candidates. Yes, this is not done enough in my opinion. F45 is a global brand, right? Showcase it. And I know for a fact that depending on the owner of the gym, if there's a single owner versus you're owned by a holding company, I know for a fact there's a lot less support with that holding company. You have a lot more leeway to do things that you want to do. Whatever the case may be, you need to post. And that's going to be dependent on your staff and how much exposure that they want to bring to the gym. Now, if you have a young staff, that's great, because usually young staff typically with Gen Z, the second most popular job is healthcare and fitness amongst Gen Z. Now, typically Gen Z is in the gym. Now, typically Gen Z wants to be in front of the camera. So it works both ways. You can collaborate with Gen Z and use the fact that they want to be in the camera all the time and take selfies and all that stuff. Do it in front of an F45 sign. Bring members in. And that way, that's just another way. And like I said, I was going to sprinkle in some other things that I totally forgot to put on this on my slides, is that's just another revenue stream also. Figure out a way that you can, that particular candidate or candidates, or I'm sorry, if you already hired them, figure out a way where they can monetize themselves and bring in more clients. This is another revenue stream for you, another revenue stream for them, and another way that you can offer another thing that you offer as a bonus structure. If they bring in and they mention, Kyle, I watched Kyle's video and I'm in here for him. Okay, we'll give Kyle a gift card, give Kyle extra $30, whatever you want to do, just something that will entice them and it'll make them more excited about their job and want to practically just want to promote the gym more and themselves. Sorry about that. Retaining talent. Oh boy, this is a big one. Okay. Now, like I said, typically with studios right now, there are a lot of Gen Z sales associates and general managers out there. High turnover due to better offers from competitors, lack of career growth opportunities, burnout, and client-facing roles. Let me start with better offers from competitors. I don't know the reason why the salaries aren't a little bit higher or the bonus structures aren't a little bit different, but they need to be looked at and they need to be evaluated. I understand that depending on the location, you just can't offer that amount of money. Or I know for a fact that some owners are just extremely cheap and don't want to pay. But I'll go through an example with Indeed. We have so many Indeed posts out there that say 16, 15, $14 an hour. Well, guess what? You're going to get someone who's worth 14, 15, $16 an hour, and they're not going to stay that long. What I suggest is putting a range based on the bonus structure. So if you get $10, $20, per membership, then make that in the range, put that in the salary, if that makes any sense. And you guys can ask questions about that. I have plenty of stuff to talk about afterwards, but I hope that makes sense. Lack of career growth opportunities. Specifically talk about Gen Z. They're there for a short time. They're there for a good time and not for a long time. Pretty much. That's what we're looking at right now, right? But they want to stay somewhere if it actually makes sense for them. They leave for reasons. They don't want to waste their time anymore. And they don't care if they'll leave without a plan. I've seen it a million times, So hopefully there is some sort of career growth depending on how many. If you're a gym owner that owns multiple locations, then offer them a career path to being a regional manager, or make up something. I mean, we don't have to stick within the things of just being a general manager. I don't know, make them a God manager. Who cares? Just make it seem like there's something more than just being a general manager, because the fact that, like I said, a lot of Gen Z and a lot of people actually go into fitness roles and they want to stay in that role if it makes sense for them. But obviously, you're only going to go so far within a franchise. So you have to make up creative ways to, just attract better talent and things of that nature. Many view fitness roles as stepping stones, not long-term careers. Again, that depends on if you own multiple locations. Competitive markets make it easy for employees to job hop. They do. And one thing that I will say that I don't think is that much thought goes into, if you have to get rid of an employee, plan ahead. I've seen it too many times where employers fire someone on a whim, and all of a sudden now they're stuck because they're down 2 staff members, 1 staff member, or whatever the case may be, and now they're back in the gym, with a bad attitude because they don't want to work there. They hired people for a reason. So I'll just think ahead in terms of, okay, well, Susie is not doing well. Let me start looking on Indeed right now, or start looking at other job posting websites and find some top talent. So just plan ahead, because you don't want to hire too fast and you don't want to fire too fast, but you have to take into consideration, what's coming down the pike. Is this person getting any better? Are they getting any worse? So just think about that. How to retain top talent. Oh, fair pay, commissions. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Yeah. Like I said, we got to think about how everyone's being paid. $16 an hour it's just not gonna work anymore. And you have to get competitive. You have to get creative with your bonus structures. One of the things that I had to fix at a gym called Metabolic, we changed the bonus structure, and we changed the way they were getting paid. So their GM now is on a sliding scale based on their base salaries on a sliding scale. So however members you bring in per month, so say your base salary is at 50, it will drop down to 45 if a certain amount of members, if the gym in itself, their members drop below. Does that make sense? So it always keeps them, and it actually, the person who we hired for the job was not mad at that, because at another metabolic that I was working for, their gym was making 80 grand because we did the same thing. So it just keeps them, competitive, and who the hell wants to work for $45,000? So that structure actually works. I would actually consider that. Clear career pathways. Again, make the employees realize like there is some sort of path. Whether it's offering them a stake in the gym or whatever it is. Again, you have to get creative with this stuff. Everything is changing. No one's going to stay at this job forever if there's no career path forward. Team culture. Again, if you're hiring someone who has been in the fitness industry and has done F45 or CrossFit or anything of that nature, try to find those people. They will be your best salesman, and they will sell your product when they're not even in the gym. Trust me. All right, takeaways. Clearly define your hiring needs to find qualified candidates, align candidates with the studio's culture to improve retention and satisfaction, foster a team environment with competitive perks and opportunities for growth. All right, guys, who got questions?